What is going on, Grinders? It's Chief. We're in the building, and I am so elated to come on and talk with you guys today. It's Take Your Pick'em, and we are live and in color. And so it's another beautiful day in Zamunda, and I am glad to be here. I always forget to take these glasses off. I use these things to try to make sure the light doesn't damage my eyes long term, and then I forget. And so I did see my reflection today, and so I was able to pull those off. You know what time it is. We're going to kick this thing off with winning words of wisdom. And this one, I mean, this was fantastic. This was fantastic. This one is coming from Arthur Ashe. And here's what he says. From what we get, we can make a living. What we give, however, makes a life. I think that's just an incredible quote. And it really talks about something bigger than just ourselves, right? So, you know, we can all obviously benefit from ourselves and benefit from our knowledge and benefit from the things that we have inside. But man, when we're able to give, man, it just really enriches your life when you can help people, when you can give to people, whether that's your time, whether that's resources, whether that's information, whether or not that's love, happiness, a joke, a hug, comfort, all of those things are things that we can put out into the world. Put good out, get good in. And I think that's just, man, Arthur Ashe, what an incredible quote this morning. All right, we're going to do a quick recap. And we're coming off of a sweep. And I knew it was coming, obviously, as baseball continues to push along. We're going to start seeing some big days. And, you know, we have the big days that I think are on the way. And so in terms of our record for the month of May, we're now in June, but let's recap May. May was not bad. 42 picks correct, 34 picks incorrect, and 2 pushes, okay? Yesterday, finished the month off strong with the sweep. Mitch Keller at 6.5 Ks. We took more than that projection. We won that one. Zach Eflin, more than 16.5 pitching outs. We won that one. Patrick Corbin, less than 16.5 pitching outs. We were able to win that one. And so we've really, you know, starting to round things out here. And so I think we're going to have a good month. New month, new money. It's now June 1st, 2023. And we are going to get into the plays. Brent McNeil, thank you for joining us this morning, man. Good to see you out there. And you guys already know, you know, what we're going to do. We will discuss the plays. We'll be using one of our beautiful tools at RotoGrinders, which is Plate IQ. I think it's a really good launching pad. And obviously I use a couple other things. But I think this one is really good to kind of give you an idea of where guys are already at during the season. All right, here we go. So first up on the board today, look, I'm going with the guy here. This one is at the end of the night, but I definitely think this one can get the job done for us. And that's going to be Hunter Green at 6 strikeouts. I think that's a touch too low. We've got the bump down on that one. I know, you know, a lot of projection systems aren't going to agree with Hunter Green today as it seems. And it is going to be a little warm in Boston. But here's what I'm looking at. So Hunter Green it sometimes can overpower a team with his strikeout stuff. And so sitting at a 32.8% K rate, a 3.87 extra, which is very interesting for Green, especially when he's walking 9% of his bats. But with the 32.8% K rate, I think that K rate is just a touch overpowering. And so when we look at Boston, it's not that Boston has massive strikeouts at the top of this lineup, right? Verdugo at 13%, Devers at 19%, Turner at 13%, Yoshida at 11.3%. But when we get down to the bottom with Duran at 28, Casas at 28, Hernandez at 25, Valdez at 24, McGuire at 30, I think this is going to bode well for our Green shares. I think out of these bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think he can pick up 2 to 3 here just out of the bottom 5. And so he'll probably see these guys 2 or 3 times. I'm expecting him to K all of these guys at least once. And that's just an expectation based on a 32% K rate. Also, you know, one of my mantras that I live by in terms of strikeouts is low strikeout does not mean no strikeout. And so Verdugo's at 13%. It's not 0%. He strikes out sometimes. Devers is at 19%. Turner 13, 11, and Yoshida at 11. So it's not that they don't strike out. They're just going to strike out in very limited capacities. But when I've got a guy with the 32% K rating, we've seen Green just really, pile up the strikeouts from time to time. I think with the 32% K rate and getting him at 6 strikeouts, I really, really, really like that opportunity. One of the other things that I like is 37% to lefties, 28% to righties. He's really high velocity. So he's up there. I mean, he's around 98 miles an hour. So look at this, the contact rates on the high velocity fastballs here for this particular team. And we've got a fair amount of batted ball events this season, but Verdugo at 82, but Dever 66, Turner 81, Yoshida 81, 47, 82, 77, 55, 85. Mixed bag, kind of all over the place, but the point I'm trying to make is we don't have a full team of contact rates all above 80, and so they're kind of mixed in good, bad. I do think this is a great pot for us at 6. I like it. Obviously, we've got some push potential, and that's another reason why I'm willing to embrace it, at least on the prop sites. The push potential, I think, is really good. On the pick'em sites, the push potential is really good there for us, but I do think he goes over here. So I'm playing it for him to pick up 7. If he bumps to 6.5, I'm not going to play it because I'm going to have enough in at 6. Okay, so I don't want to go ahead and get it in now before the bumps come in. He is 6 on Underdog and PrizePicks at the moment. Okay, moving right along to our next one. And this is going to be another late one. I do have 2 that are early. So we're going to have 4 today. I do have 2 that are early. But what I'm going to do, and look, this team is coming off of a stinker last night, but I think this is a touch too high, okay? I think the pitching outs are a touch too high because this guy will pitch himself into some trouble, and that's Reed Detmers sitting here. He's at 17 pitching outs on PrizePicks, and I meant to check Underdog and see where he's only at 5 strikeouts. They didn't give us pitching outs on Underdog, but we do have it on PrizePicks at 17 pitching outs. I'm going with less than that projection. Obviously, we've seen Altuve with a 33% K rate, limited plate appearances. Just coming back. We do have some strikeouts at the bottom of this order, but once again, I think Reed Detmers will pitch himself into some trouble. And Houston is a team on the season that's been hitting lefties a little bit better than righties. I know they kind of got mowed down yesterday by Varland. But once again, Reed Detmers, 9% walk rate. I think he'll walk a couple of guys, even though the guys at the top don't have incredibly high walk rates at the moment. In the middle of this order and at the bottom here with Myers, we do have some walks. I think he'll walk a couple guys. I think he'll pitch himself into some trouble. And with that being said, at 17 pitching out, I think it's just a touch too high. If it was 15 pitching outs, obviously, I think it would have stayed away. But basically, at 17 pitching outs, we're saying, hey, does he complete 5 2/3? And for him to beat us, he's got to complete 6. Not saying he won't, but I think this is a good opportunity for us at 17. I really like less than that particular projection. As you look and see what he's throwing here, mostly fastball slider and then a little bit of knuckle curve, and then you pull up the curveball here. As you can see, okay contact rates up top, not great at the bottom. He will use that pitch for a few strikeouts along with the slider. But on the slider, we've got fairly good contact rates sprinkled throughout until we get to the bottom as well. And then, of course, on the fastball, you're going to see good contact rates on most of these guys just because fastball is a primary pitch, and that's one that they will see a fair amount. So as you can see, look at these contact rates, 88, 91, 82, 92, 81, 82, 80, 75, and 80. Those are really good contact rates. And it looks like it's going to be warm in terms of the weather around the country for baseball today. And looks like the sun's going to be bright and shining. And if you've been listening to this podcast, you know it's time to talk about our good friends, Shady Rays. Kick off the new year with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair you've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by the lost and broken replacement policy. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you make that initial purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look good and feel good. To date, they have donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for listeners of Take Your Pick'em, head on over to ShadyRays.com. They'll give you the best deal of the year. Promo code RotoGrinders. That's going to give you 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. All right, there's 2 plays out of the way. I said we've got 4 today, kicking off the month strong. We're going to move to our next one. So we talked about Hunter Green. We talked about Reed Detmers. We're going to Pablo Lopez, folks. Pablo Lopez and across the industry. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split this one. Both of these will count today. So we're going to technically end up with 5 particular pick'em plays, but we're going to split them in 2 because on one side you have one and on the other side you have the other. Here we go. So Pablo Lopez, we've got him at 5 strikeouts. It doesn't look like Cleveland striking out. I like it. Pablo's sitting at a 30% K rate this season. And I mean, this man has been pitching games. Cleveland is not a team that I'm scared of right now. And so at 5 strikeouts, I want more than that projection. That one's going to count. The one I really want is 29.5 fantasy points, and that's on PrizePicks specifically. Both of these will count in the tally because you can't get the fantasy points on the other sites, okay? So both of these will count in the official tally. So I like Lopez today. I think he's going to be able to get through Cleveland. And so here's the big thing. Even if he can't get the 6 strikeouts, which I think he can in this spot, even though we're seeing lower K rates, look at the ISO numbers here, folks. 74 ISO, 68 ISO, 94, 92. The ball, these guys are not hitting for a lot of power. I think that's going to yield really good results for Pablo Lopez, which is why, my good friend Big Dog Cal, we talked about it a little bit this morning in terms of the fantasy points. Really like the fantasy points here a ton. And I was on the strikeout prop early, but then the fantasy points at 29.5. I think Pablo will be able to eat through some innings clean here in this game, and that's going to yield him. This might be the one game I think Pablo can go 7 to 8 innings here if everything heads in his direction. So we see Pablo. He's throwing fastball, changeup, and then curveball. A little bit of curveball to lefties, sinker to righties. That's going to keep the ball on the ground. You guys have heard me talk about it when guys are throwing sinkers and cutters. I really like that, because that's going to yield really good quick innings from time to time when they need to get some outs. So I like Pablo today. Once again, we're going to include both in the official tally because you can split it up. You can get the strikeouts on PrizePicks as well, but I'm going to lean more towards the fantasy points at 29.5. I like more than that projection. You got 5 strikeouts on Underdog and the other sites. I like that projection as well. Definitely going to lean more than that projection. So we got a 2-for-1 there. All right, moving to our last one of the day, and that is Joe Musgrove at 5 strikeouts, folks, facing the Miami Marlins. And this is a game that's on the road. This is one of our early games. Okay, but what we're going to see from Musgrove here, my goodness, he's going to see some strikeouts today. This team as a whole, striking out at a 24% clip. We've got De La Cruz at 30, Soler at 28, Cooper at 29, Sanchez at 32, Wendell at 25, which is a surprise. Historically, hasn't been a strikeout guy. Stallings at 26 and Hampson at 23. Now, on the season, Musgrove sitting at 22 right now, but has not pitched a lot of games. Obviously, was hurt for part of the season. Walk rate at 6.6%. And an xFIP of 4.68, but I really like the strikeout opportunities here. He's pretty balanced across both sides of the plate, and he's another guy that's got a pretty good pitch mix here. Fastball, slider, a little bit of changeup, throwing the fastball cutter. That'll help him get out of some jam. And then we've got the knuckleball or the curveball, and he's throwing that close to 20% on both sides. A little under the righties, a little more to lefties. Going to balance out to about 20%. So, folks, we're going to do a quick recap. Hopefully, we get the sweep in place again today and start the month strong. If we get these 4 correct, that should set up your flex plays for some big-time profits on the day. So, once again, start at the top. We've got Hunter Green at 6 strikeouts. We want more than that projection across the industry. We've got Reed Detmers at 17 pitching outs. And I think you'll probably be able to get Detmers on Vivid as well. So, please check Vivid. We want less than the 17 pitching outs. We've got Pablo Lopez. We're splitting this one in two. Both will count for the official tally. We want more than 5 strikeouts, probably across the industry and other spots, which are going to be vivid, sleeper, underdog. On PrizePicks, I'm really going to be getting in at 29.5 fantasy points. I want more than that projection. And then we've got Joe Musgrove at 5 strikeouts. I want more than that projection. Thank all you beautiful people for joining me. I'm Chief. This has been Take Your Pick'em. Come in with your pockets empty. Leave with your pockets full. Looking for a sweep. Let's start the month strong. I'll see you back here tomorrow.